There we go. I wanted to get my YouTube browser muted so I can leave it running. Um, Everybody's been thrashing today. Dallas was working on his engine. Uh, I was working on an old house today. Got back here. I said, you know what? I'm not even gonna try to book a guest this week. You guys are all the guests. I pinned the link up there. If any of y'all want to jump in, you can jump in. Um, Virtually everybody's welcome. Who all do we have in here? Let's see. Wendy English was first after me, and then Don, and then Ron. The entire English clan, except for Brian, is in here tonight. Jason's Garage, Turbo Tom 416. Mrs. Dust Devil is here. Turbo Tom says, did you see my video, how to start my Model T? I haven't seen it yet. I do want to see that, though. I think that's really cool. Mostly old parts and rust Patrick. Been sick with the COVID, but getting better. Well, hey, if you want to come on here, nobody can get sick if you want to be on StreamYard. Buck Does It is in the house. Leighton Welding, not to be confused with Leighton Motorsports, which is also Leighton Welding, but is actually Leighton Welding, because that's what we know him as, is Leighton Welding. Jay from Rapid Transit is here. My Aunt Nancy's here. Don scrapped his last fender well. Scrapped or scraped. Either way, it's probably appropriate. Auto Salvage Outlaws, Robert Magny, Dutch Guy's Garage, Nathan's Mopar Garage. Yeah, Dutch Guy says, working on Chrysler ignition system tonight. That's been the thing. We've all been so busy. That's why I didn't book a guest for tonight. We'll be back to guests next week and thereafter, though. So every rare now and then I'll do a live like this and just run it free, pin the link. Tim is here. Old Dad's Running Bag Garage. I like the name. Dean is here. Colleen Tebow. Colleen, thanks for joining us. This will not be like the live that was on last night at all. Irish Outlaw, what's happening? Getting ready to flush transmission lines. Yes. Get ready for having a waterfall of glitter. Raker's here. Yeah, so no real topic tonight. I just thought I would put up what I was working on. Yeah, just a cool town hall meeting. Yeah, exactly. You come in here and hang out. Yeah, Mopar did the countdown clock. You know what? We're getting closer all the time. I'm working on that. And we're actually working on when we will announce it, depending on what we're doing in the month of December. But we are working on that. Yes, this is what I've been doing. There we go. Yep. Working on the old house. It is really looking better. I'm going to do a slideshow on this thing. Man, it takes a long time when it's you and a little bit of help, but put new windows in, the roof, soffits, fascia boards, the siding. Just got the siding up this week. You can tell I'm working my way down. Once all that's done, I'm going to, of course, clear out that debris and the flower beds, and it'll all look really nice again. Today, this is what I was doing just hours ago. I obviously got to get a second coat on it as I'm painting the block. I mean, it is taking a lot of days to dry, but I'm gonna dig out that bottom course good and clean it good so I can paint. But I'm going ahead and doing the top. But I'm gonna take that paint all the way around. It'll look really nice. It's gonna look good. Much better doing this time of year than December. These are the guys helping me doing. We got vinyl dormers and all that stuff. Just a huge project, but that's where my year went. Here's where my year went. Right here, instead of cars, these two things. That's where my year went. Leighton says it's going to rain all weekend, stuck in the house. Well, the nice thing about this is now that the outside's about done, I can go work inside. And It's all nice and dried in, and I'm actually pricing a new boiler right now. So I guess I'll bite down on a piece of rebar and write that check. That'll be a couple grand. Mopar in something I own. It's an old family property. Been in the family for 3 generations. I'm saving it. Yes, construction in December is terrible. Been there, done that. I actually did all the structure on this roof in December, and then let the weather come around, and in April shingled it. Buff is in the house. How's it going? So Rob's Rods and Streetcars. Howdy, howdy. So you guys, I've got the StreamYard link just pinned at the top. If anybody wants to jump in, I thought this would be a good week to not book a guest because all of us have got so much going on, and then we'll be back to a more regular format next week. But Friday evening, 8 Eastern to 10, that's the time when I get to hang out with all of you guys. So I always make sure to break and stop and clean up at work and all that stuff and get here. It's cold, dreary in Kansas. I dislike winter, Buff says. Well, I hate winter. I hate winter. If I could take an elective coma for the months of January and February, I would. There's nothing good about those 2 months. Ron English, you're going to catch them all in one place at one time next year. Buff's got the P.O. box working. Frank is working on a blue 68 GTS 383. Well, that sounds exciting. Rebuilt the entire 323 sure grip 8 3/4 drum to drum. All worn parts are. Man, that's fun. That's great. I need to do that exact same thing. I really do. I actually have 2 of those I need to do. Frank Parks, we did a live together. You're welcome to do another. You can jump on right now if you want to. I would like to come back sometime. That was a lot of fun. That time flew by doing the live from Mopar Restos in Summerville, Georgia. So much fun. Patrick says he doesn't miss doing siding in late December in a snowstorm. But sometimes that's just how it works out. Well, the weather's been pretty nice for this. The high's been around 60, 65 even. It's been pretty nice. But I need to get these dormers done and get the elastifation, soffits and stuff done and paint, getting all that finished up. Then I can go inside. I got plenty to do in there. Leighton found a 51 Cornet in a shop. It's in great condition. Hey, well, you could have a twin to Big Mike's Hoopty Barn. That's a 51 Corvette. Ron researched a P.O. box address. Does that work? Well, I didn't know there was any research to do. I mean, did you research it that they actually exist? I don't, I don't know what that means. I don't know what's $1,000, Leighton, but I sure have written a lot of checks for at least that. You like that, Cope? Yeah, so I got this a couple years ago when the Freedom Hate Party took control of my state. I wanted to make sure people knew that I wasn't down with that. So this is what I'll wear, like when when a board of supervisors or that kind of meeting comes up, and that's the topic. This is what I wear. That way they know what I got to say before I even get to the podium. I'm unapologetically pro-freedom. Yeah, I'm the opposite. I don't check my post office box enough. I call it the bad news box. It's where I get all my notices and stuff. Cope, if you want to jump in, you're welcome to. I know I usually plan that with you, but I didn't book a guest this week. I just too much going on for everybody. We'll be back to normal format next week. Oh yeah, I'm all about it. All about it. My channel is about cars, but I am you cannot be more pro 2A than me. I'm actually more than pro 2A. If the Second Amendment were repealed, I'm like, well, that was nice, to have confirmation, but it's not permission I needed in the first place. I was born with my rights. They weren't granted by the government, but I digress. Landon says he's sorry. The party can start now. Well, hey, 52 in here. Yeah, I asked Dallas. I said, "You want to go live tonight? I know you're busy." He's like, "Ah, man, he's been working on that 430, and it's just been killing him. That 430's fought him every detail of the way. He discovered, as much as that guy knows about Buick, he found out that a 430 has a different spacing on the exhaust manifolds for 1 year only, and that's 1967. And he didn't he didn't realize that it was a 1 year only thing. Yeah, Cope. I was doing an experiment. I look over. There's a little delay over on YouTube, at least in the comments. I block it in StreamYard. I'm trying to see what goes on the other side. So it's just an experiment the way you got to do it. Seems to work. Auto Salvage Outlaws is indeed still kicking. Wow, car's full of straw up to the door sills. Well, you can remedy that. Yeah, Levi, have you fixed your transmission yet? Okay, Dizzy, I'll check that out. Thanks. Check it out. Mopardin's asking, do you know if he's using the Buick 430 heads and intake manifold? I'm not sure on that. This was a 430 that he built, and I'm not sure. He's got a lot of Buick stuff, so I don't know. I don't know, but I know that he said that 1 year 67 has a lot of 1 year only stuff on it. He figured that out. He had to build a carburetor for it. He had to build a distributor for it so he could run it. He said this one was a lot of one-off stuff to have to do. Unlike most of the ones he has, he can just grab parts off the shelf. Big Mike, what's happening, y'all? Well, you see it. You see it. We were just, everybody was going a different direction. So I said, instead of a guest, we'll do this. Blake, that's what we're doing. We're just hanging out. Just hanging out. Hanging out on the Friday before Halloween. Status of 383. Status 383 is waiting for me to finish doing stuff like this so I can do stuff like that. I said earlier, for most of y'all were in here, there's been two things that has been my entire year. These two things. This house, this event. And that's it. That's all. I haven't been able to hardly do anything else. So Levi's going to beef it up and try to make something that'll be a little stouter. That's understandable. Levi going to a 4L80E. The only thing I don't like is that E. When you see the E in a transmission, that just to me, ooh, automatically makes it difficult. So I don't know GM's coding as well. It's similar, but I know with a Chrysler, the H is hydraulic, the E is electronic. That's, to me, it's an upgrade not having to have an E on the transmission. That's just me. There's a guy asking about running the electronic overdrive behind a slant six. I'm thinking, why would you? You don't have to, but Maybe he wants to. TH400 with a second gear lead, the dump valves, and other goodies. I assume when you say second gear lead, you mean your trans brake works in second gear. Oh man, that sounds really good. Been talking to my, been tending to my chili all day, having a cook off tomorrow. Ooh, that sounds exciting. Yeah, Buff, I know what it is. I know, but it just, I, I'm such an analog guy, really. I'm a guy who likes the one wire to the points. I say that I like electronic ignition. I've done stuff with it, but I'm I don't know. I don't like any electronics I don't have to have. I got to really get a return for them. Funny you ask that. Blake's asking Cope if he makes any valve bodies for Neon. The Neon uses a sideways 904. That's what's in the Neon. And I never did. I've built a Neon transmission once, and I remember how remarkably similar to a 904 it was in there. In fact, I'd like to someday get another one and take it apart and look at, if there's any lightweight parts to be used. Like, I don't think the sun shell will work, but a Neon has a factory light and sun shell in it, for example. I'd be really curious if the valve body fits. Cope will probably know that, but I just remember that. Dutch guy's been watching ostrich jousting all day. Very entertaining sport. Well, as long as the ostriches don't get hurt. Yeah, speaking of that, Blake, that very valve body is given away. You still got time to enter. And I want to plug it because Cope is not like the big corporate, Chinese parts corporate guy at all. He's one of us. He's just really enterprising, does really good work, and I want to promote that. I think it's cool. He's doing that for us. So he's giving away a valve body just to the YouTube crowd. So any purchase at his site, put YouTube in the notes. You're entered to win. One entry per person, and I think it's great. I'm looking forward to somebody in our community winning that valve body and doing a video on it. And it's just good stuff. Patrick asks, isn't that an A604? I know a 604, it's in the vans. I actually think what was in the Neon was a little smaller. I think it was oh man, I don't know, a 30 or 31 TH. It wasn't electronic. I don't know. Good Cope question. I know the 604 came in the minivans, and Cope used to do those actually. Mike's cooking us all T-bones. Yeah, sounds good to me. I think we're going to up our grilling game next year to No Name Nationals. That's what I predict happening. We're all kind of figuring out how to keep ourselves free and available to do all kinds of fun things. And because let me tell you, Dallas and Ron Ward, they were grilling machines. Every evening they had the grill running. Had the venison sausage Ron Ward had, the Korean short ribs, Dallas. They had it going on. Will it fit a 904? Well, that's what we were talking about because the Neon transmission pretty much is a sideways 904. And instead of having the long output shaft and extension housing, it's got a set of transfer gears. Uh, and then your differential. And it's pretty wild how it works. However, that front half looks just like a 904 to me. And I would like to get into another one sometime. It would be a fun experiment. If you can build a 904, you can build a Neon transmission. Levi says Patrick met a guy who knows you and said you asked him to go to the No Name Nationals. He had nothing but good words. He's a little bit more famous than me. Oh my. He's famous as Ron English. That's famous enough. Oh, see, check that out. So the Bad Tree guys were over there sampling too. That's a perk of pitting right there by Dallas. Auto Salvage Outlaw says I have two sponsors, some local places. I mean, we'll talk about it. There's we can. I mean, we'll be willing to entertain anything. I know one thing: we're extremely cautious on who we deal with that kind of stuff. There we go. See, Mike gets it. My chili's 90% meat and 10% other stuff. Right on. Man, I know a guy whose wife's chili, and I don't know what's in that, but I don't think she puts any meat in it at all. How do you have chili without meat? That's the whole point of chili. The whole point of chili is being able to find another way to make meat without having to grill it. It's just another way to enjoy meat. I don't get the whole meatless chili thing whatsoever. I think it's all just like beans and weird stuff. Yeah, chili should have beans. Yeah, exactly. It should have it, but that shouldn't be. There's no replacement for having meat in the chili. Seriously. So I remember one time the local real estate board decided to have a chili cook off, and I had a booth there. The only reason I had a booth is because one of my clients made really killer chili. I said, "Hey, let's do this thing." We came in second. And I don't know. I mean, I know it's subjective with the judges and stuff, but the way they were judging it is that the firms all got votes. They could all place vote. Well, I mean, these huge firms had a massive advantage. So, of course, it was a giant firm that won. I have no idea, Mopar Den, but that's insane. Max Wedge, Dick Dastardly says, "Is the Nacho going to be racing more often?" Well, is it, Blake? It should be. That car's a machine. Nacho's got quite a following. Wife gave Auto Salvage Outlaws the green light to finish the truck for the next No Name Nationals. Mohawk is saying, is it a stew or is it a soup or is it just a meat sauce? I don't know. That's the nice thing about experimenting with recipes like that. If it doesn't work, you got something else cool to try, right? There we go. Big Mike says his has wild boar, uses commercial breakfast sausage. Yeah, a lot of guys are doing that, using like the Jimmy Dean or something, makes it sweet. Some are sausage, bacon, kielbasa, beef meatballs, and pepperoni. Yeah, I can. Yeah, that's pretty wild. Howdy, Hot Rod Nation. I see you sneaking in here. Bad Tree is saying that the tracks are closed up this way, but we plan on running a quarter mile quite. Yeah, yeah, it'll be interesting. Yeah, we don't have much quarter around here at all because of the terrain mostly. I mean, Bristol and Richmond, man, that's about it. Charlotte, those are the only tracks that long around here. I know the Mohawk here is talking about making the No Name Nationals in 2023. Sure hope that he does. You will need at least 500 subs. I recommend getting on it over the winter. Get you as good a head start as you can. Andrew Nelson is in the house. The chat just got a lot faster. How you doing, sir? And those of you who haven't noticed, if you wish, there's a pinned link at the top. Very unusual. The more I thought about it this week, I said, you know what? I'm not going to book a guest for today. Today's just going to be random. And been working on the old house. And Dallas is busy on the 4:30. And said, you know what? We're just going to do something freestyle tonight. We'll be back on a more traditional schedule next Friday. Hey, you know what? I see that comment there. Hang on a minute. Patrick's asking Big Mike, when is the competition? Does the crowd get to taste? Mike, why don't you stream some from it? Make sure to do some filming and stuff for your channel. Yeah, see, Blake's going to practice with Mario Kart iRacing. Yes, that's cool. Tony's Hot Rod Garage, what's happening? Well, I'll tell you one thing that's happening. I don't know why, but I was combing around in my subscription list today in studio. I don't even remember why I was in there. And I noticed I was not subscribed to you. So I said, I need to fix that. So I subscribed to Tony's Hot Rod Garage today. You guys should check him out too. Yeah, I was checking out what Mohawk was doing too. We're going to have another interesting crowd of participants next year, in addition to who we had this past year. And I can't think of any scenario we're not going to have at least double the crowd. One-eyed cat's ringing the doorbell. Oh, Joe is here. Joe, you can jump in if you want.
Howdy ho.
Dawn, the one-eyed cat.
Oh, man, she's being obnoxious right now. I had to light a cigarette just so she'd go away. I light it and put it out as soon as she'll be back.
Yeah.
It's inevitable.
Dizzy regrets not getting to see Joe. You know, I didn't hardly get to talk to Joe hardly any at all that weekend. We was just a thing. We were just so busy.
I got Joe's autograph.
I probably talked to Joe 5 minutes the whole weekend, but that's the way it goes. It's just, we were just that, and Blake is the same way. A lot of these guys. I know I went over to Levi's pit, talked just a little bit, but that was like that for everybody. Colleen, I probably didn't get to say, 3 sentences to Colleen all week because it's just the way it was. Although I did say, I remember 2 sentences I said to Damien, though. He got his 500 subs outside the gate and he showed me on his phone. I said, please send me the screenshot and go get the tech line. So I remember those 2 sentences I said to Damien. He was excited. We were excited for him. That was a lot of fun. Yeah, Punisher Lamont. Let's see how it runs. I know you just had a transmission to change. It was a blast. I enjoyed it too. We're just working so hard. And next year we're going to have things a little more ironed out. So Dallas and I have a little more freedom to roam. We're working on that right now. Dallas and I probably talk several times a week working on this. And we're going to have an announcement for you guys pretty soon. But believe me, we're coming. We're already in full swing on this thing. It's buzzing. And the only thing that makes it a little more complicated is the whole, Larry Jeffers IHRA thing and the end of the season stuff that we got to work around. But as far as that goes, we're in good shape. We got a lot of options this year, so.
Yeah, I got No Name on my mind still. These days are getting shorter, John.
Yes, they are.
It's like, holy shit. Well, the sun goes down about 4:15. I know it's like, man, it's starting to cool off already.
It's been nice to be up on ladders at
Oh, in the
5 in the evening.
sunshine. It's supposed to
Yeah.
be bright and sunny here tomorrow. It's supposed to get down to 32. So I'm glad
Roy boy.
I got
Quite
95% of my undercoating scraped now. That shit was thick, man.
Ooh, well, you got to get it done now because it's really bad in the winter doing that.
I know.
Roy boy, quite possibly.
I'm waiting for my torch to give out on me. The electric start took a shit today. That's inconvenient.
Joe discovered so many cool yeah, there's a lot, and I mean, there was all kinds of people that came out, and look, I mean, it's the content creation thing is not for everyone, and that's totally okay. I mean, of every 100 people who try it, there's probably 80 that are like, yeah, this is okay. I'll put up videos sometimes and I'll work at it to varying degrees. And then, there will be a few on each end who are, there will be a few that are like, man, I can't stand this. And that's okay. You can try it. You say it's not for you. Then there's a few people on the other end. They're like, oh man, I love this. I love making the videos and sharing it, doing all this. And it's great. It's great. But the main thing is that, we all get together and enjoy it. I see the doorbell.
Stand up.
And it's Big Mike.
Happening.
Good evening, sir.
How's it going, Big Mike?
Well, so far so good. I just thought, since we had the opportunity, I'm going to show you. I make my chili on the stovetop.
Oh, look at that.
Yeah?
Ooh, that looks good.
Yeah.
You are making me hungry with that, Mike.
And seeing I make my own tomato sauce with my own canned tomatoes and all that stuff.
Ooh, that looks good.
Onions out of the garden.
Hey, Patrick, I appreciate that and thank you, but I will say this. It was the community that made that event. Okay? It was the community. So give yourself a hand because it was that Blue Duster and all you other guys throwing down and bringing your machines and bringing yourselves. I said that from the very beginning, that it was the content creators getting there that was the most important to me. Because if the content creators want to come and hang out and have a good time, guess what? The cool old cars are going to come with them. But we got to make sure that we all want to come into the family reunion where we actually want to be. And the people who didn't get that were the ones that based it all on the cars instead of the people. You base it on the people, the cars will come.
Yeah, I tell you, it was a blast, man. That was my favorite part of it, was hanging out with everybody and visiting.
Absolutely. That's watching. It. Exactly. What's up, Ed's Machine?
Yeah, and I want to show what I got to offer at the table next year.
Oh, yeah. And that's the thing. This is a continuously evolving thing. Mm-hmm. So we knew that the Englishes would turn out for the inaugural, but I figured they would be running in the second.
Well, it gives me a reason to go over this car. It's been neglected. I won't say neglected, but it's shown its age. Man, I think I scraped 30 pounds undercoating off this thing. This shit was industrial.
Oh, yeah. I'll tell you what. If you add the weight of that stuff up, that undercoating is heavy.
I got it in a tub out here. I'm still collecting.
Well, the thing about collecting it like that's hard because you have a lot of loss. I'm curious if you were to weigh it and strip it and weigh the car again, that way that you don't get any loss. I mean, I bet you it's on the order of 80 to 100 pounds. It's a lot. It is a lot.
Well, it's been a lot of dustpans full. I was under it yesterday. I didn't even want to get up. My legs weren't falling asleep. I think I've been digging underneath these fender wells. I'm getting used to it.
Yeah. I tell you though, if you do a torch and a putty knife, it really that gets almost all of it.
Oh, I threw the torch right to it.
Yeah, and then hit it with a wheel to get the rest. To me, that's the best way to do it.
Well, the wheel's going to be tomorrow. But it's just, man.
Andrew Nelson says our day starts at 4 tomorrow, heading to Maple Grove Dragway Flea Market, and later doing a 650 Circ cage install till we're too tired. Hey, that's cool. That's great. What's the cage going in, if I may ask? Is it going in that funky little Volvo? I guess you guys got. That thing looks cool.
That's a cool little car, man.
Yeah, it is.
It's a sketchy little car, but it's a cool little car.
Got my
Look at this. Patrick wants you to send him some chili, Mike.
Well, come on down, man. Come visit. Now, see, we have an event every year with our church because we don't do Halloween. We have a fall festival on the weekend of Halloween. And we have games and contests and raffles and all that stuff, and crafts fair and all kinds of stuff all rolled into one. And there's usually several hundred people come to it. And
that's cool.
Yeah, the chili cook-off is a $500 first prize. And I've been runner-up 2 years in a row. I'm just like, dadgummit.
Second place, the first loser.
Yeah, that's what I was like, dadgummit. But it's all fun.
Got a good crowd here.
It's all just, good for the community, And our pastor is a caterer. He owns a Cowboy Catering Company, and he provides all the meals for all of our events and stuff free of charge to the public. So it's pretty cool.
Whitetail Rancher, what is this? I was there and barely anyone would talk. Where, at the No Name Nationals or at the church social? I went there to meet new friends. Man, there was all kinds of people. I mean, people hanging out everywhere. I don't know what that's about. Maybe he's talking about the church social.
I would hope not.
I would hope not. I have no idea.
He's got
just JMJ's got to run. See you, Joe.
See you, Big Joe.
Yeah, so Shopcat's another one. When I was cruising through, I did not know I was not subscribed to, because most of the time it's when I'm on a videos when I subscribe, but this was on the list. But I caught Shopcat today too. Oh, okay. So that cage was for the Volvo. Sweet. That'll be neat.
I've got a dilemma because now I've got way too many projects and I have no idea which one I'm working on for next year, because I've got the 72 Charger. It's almost there. I mean, I'm just waiting on my buddy to have time to help me finish it up. And then I've got the 66 Charger now. I've got the 78 Aspen wagon, and I just got so many, and I still got the Blockbuster. I was thinking about just taking that 4-speed out and putting in a automatic, putting in a 727 and a real drive line and just see what it would actually do.
Yeah, they could.
But
Battery says Mopar farming is an honest living. There used to be a place that was in my town called the Car Farm, and it was all old Mopar stuff. And I don't even think it's there anymore. I think the guy's retired. But anyway, Andrews Nelson says Sunday's video will give a fun look at what we got done on the 4th day after pulling that 544 from the junkyard. Yeah, well, I'm glad you guys saved it. That's a cool car. A lot of cool little cars like that don't get saved because they're so one-off. But with what you guys do, using them for a shell and building to them, it's not nearly so bad as trying to do a resto on something like that.
Oh, I got something for you. Hold on.
Any word on David Vizard? I don't know what you mean by word. I mean, I think he's doing okay, other than he just has a big challenge with his channel. I'll just go ahead and mention that. If you have not subscribed to the David Vizard channel, not David Vizard Performance, those are two different channels. There is a problem right now, and David Vizard Performance is kind of tied up, and he may lose his content over there. Long story, I'll let him tell it. But if you're not subscribed to the David Vizard channel, not David Vizard, so don't say, yeah, I'm already subscribed. But are you? David Vizard channel, that's got the thumbnail with his picture, not the blue D, David Vizard Performance. David Vizard Performance got about 27,000 subscribers. David Vizard has fewer than 1,000. But that's what you need to be subscribed to, because that's where all the new content is going up. So Make sure to subscribe to David Vizard channel.
So I got a little something here I wanted to show you, and maybe you can pull it up on the screen. Do you remember me telling you the story of the Blue Goose and my dad and his cousin driving this old jalopy to California?
Roughly.
Well, my cousin found a picture of them right before they left to go to California. And this,
look at that.
it's a 1931 Plymouth.
Oh, that's cool.
California or bust. Yeah, but that's my dad and his cousin. And my cousin sent me that picture today. I was just
That's
like,
cool.
Are you kidding me?
Hey, Mike, can anyone come to your festival? Ed wants to
Yeah,
know.
absolutely.
There you go, Ed.
Yeah, it's right on the corner of 90 and E Highway. It's right at the junction at Sims Corner Church. It's 5 miles north of Ozark Beverage Company off of Highway 94.
Andrew Nelson had, coming off the heels of being sick, breaking 2 transmissions and whatnot, still had fun. We'll have more fun next year. We got a lot of things in the works I think you'll like. Okay. Wheeling all over the place. That's cool. Well, I'll tell you what, man. Yeah. We were there to hang out and holler. Some people were more engulfed in pit thrashes than others. I'll give you that. But I hear that.
Oh, here we go.
B&R is in the house, I see. Yeah, David. I didn't know if he had a live or premiere. He does them very sporadically. He was comparing some LS heads, I believe.
Jesus Christ, man.
I see your buddy's back.
Yeah.
The namesake of the channel.
Yeah.
Levi.
Yeah, got Levi's shirt.
Ah. I'd open the door and let her out, but she won't go.
So, Mike, you're moving over to the Charger now?
Yeah, the 72. I want to finish it up, and I'm going to do a video soon. I just now today got all the rest of my resale stuff out of the way of my 66, because we went to the auction this week and picked up a bunch of tools to take to the flea market and stuff. But I'm going to do a video in the next few days. I'm going to drive the Charger out of the shop and do an inventory on it and see what I need for the 66 and what I have for the 66. I mean, I haven't even opened any of the boxes that are inside the car, so I really don't even know what I got with it. So
yeah, I bought some duster parts one time, and the guy had a price he gave me, and I went in there in the garage and I stood there. I just glanced around. I'm like, okay, well, there's the money he's asking, but I see a lot of other stuff. I'll take it. That's
right.
how you do it. You don't want to sit there and drag everything out and figure it out. You look at enough to see if you got your money.
Right. Okay. Well, I told him how much money I could afford to give him for it, and he had already had 2 offers that were higher than mine, and he wouldn't take them because both of those, all of us, he asked us what our plans for the car were. And both of those other guys said they were going to rip that 318 out and put in a 440 and a 4-speed and all that. And he said, I don't want to sell it. And then he asked me what I wanted to do it. And I told him, well, I just want to clean it up, make sure that it's safe and roadworthy. And I just want to love it and drive it. And just, I mean, It's so rare to have one all original like that, with that 3 on the tree. And I mean, it's not going to be a hot rod. It's going to be a Sunday driver.
Not everything has to be a race car.
Right. I've got race cars.
Not everything has to be a race car.
You can pull a shell out of the junkyard and make a race car.
It's nice when you got 2 of them.
Yes.
I've been asking when I'm going to start Rich on Dart Sport. Okay, so Mike, here's the thing. This house has been my entire 2022 and 2021. Okay. And this was every time I wasn't there. Okay. Writing checks out of this checkbook to be exact. But I mean, those two things they completely claimed actually about the last year and a half.
So, yeah, the thing on the Charger, when we went in there, we looked at it and we were discussing, terms on it. And it also has the original title. Another guy owned it, but he never licensed it or anything. It still has the original title. And anyway, I told him I'd give him $3,500 for it. We piddled around with it. We got it running. I drove it onto the trailer. I drove it off of the trailer, parked it up in my stables. I drove it from the stables down here to my house and parked it into the hoopty barn. I mean, it'll run and drive, So I'm going to say I'm probably already doing okay on it.
BNR mentions a good point. So over at Devizar's channel, when you watch his stuff, one thing he teaches is about port energy, which is something not enough people understand or talk about. It's not just about flow; it's the port energy, which encompasses the velocity. Yes, the Nelsons are great people. They really are. They are some of the finest human beings in the YouTube community. Not just the fastest. They're great people too. Mopar's Mustangs and minivans is going to be redoing a live at the salvage yard. No, don't redo it. Just do another. Call it part 2 and do it.
Yeah, why not?
To redo it, just do it again. Let's see.
She did live at the salvage yard. If that's the same one, well, if it's the same live from a couple weeks ago, there was a 62 Valiant in that yard. I think it was a 62.
Yep. By the way, Don, that reminds me. I saw this today, and I thought of you. I was driving down the road and saw that.
Nice.
Yeah.
Oh, my favorite color, even.
Yeah. Thought that was wild.
Saying it's rare to see them in the wild anymore.
I know. That was very rare. It was rare enough that I took a picture of it while rolling.
I mean, I'm happy to see a 62 Dart, It's close, but no cigar, but I'll take it.
Levi's got a bold claim here. I hope to be at least the second fastest, if not the fastest next year.
Woo!
Hey, Andrew Nelson. Hey, Calvin Nelson.
I was going to say now. Yeah, I was going to say now, if Redbeard and the Nelsons don't show up.
Let me tell you, 28-10-5. If you ever wanted to pull off the upset in 28-10-5, this was your year, because next year going to be real different. Now it's on everybody's radar.
Yeah,
I think 28-10-5 is going to be crazy next year.
I think everybody's going to be bringing their A game next year.
And you don't have to be, by no means do you have to be in the 28-10-5 class to win low ET. Now, you can, if you have steamrollers that don't fit the class, you can still win low ET. But go for it, Levi. That'll be great. We're looking forward to it. That's the thing. Everybody's going to be bringing more next year. We just want to grow it right. We don't want anybody coming in and trying to ruin it. We don't want anybody trying to ruin it with crazy influences, that come with the corporate world. Thumper, here's the deal. We didn't put up any times because you guys being the content creators, it's up to you to post your times. And it's up to you to share your times. So there's a reason we didn't. Obviously, some people knew some of the times because guys had them on the windows and the brackets. But again, even in the brackets, we didn't post the times. I told them in the tower, it's up to those guys to get the dial-ins right. It's up to them. We put it on them.
Stuck here thinking what I'm going to do to the car tomorrow. I'm getting ready to paint in their fender wells.
Yep.
They
That's
sure
all
are looking. Sure is looking nice under there, John.
I painted with a brush all day. Ugh. What are you going to paint them with?
Just rattle cans. I'm getting a good primer and then semi-gloss white. White's easy.
Thumper is going in and giving us an index. He's going to have the fastest 13-second eighth-mile car. Okay, so 13 at what mile per hour? Colleen, you pay per vehicle. That's how the entries work, and each vehicle includes one human handler. Yeah, Levi, that didn't take long. With third gear slipping and not accelerating the whole top end, we still ran 125. Bring your A game.
I know they were scooting.
Well, we're already ahead of getting the track as good as we can make it.
Is that officially a call out?
Who knows?
Well, like I said, I don't know what I'm bringing, but I know I'm bringing me. I know I'll be there one way or the other.
Shopcat's got his subs now, so.
Well, Levi, just back off on the sandwiches.
Levi, I'll tell you what, there's a whole lot of way to come out of that if that's really what you want to do there.
Wow, 4,000 pounds.
You know, Unfinished Project can't find 28-10-5 from a 14-inch rims. Well, there's a lot of guys who run really wide rims, and they rim screw them or bead lock them, and that's kind of wide. I mean, 12. I would do 12 on a 28 a 10-5 all day. I like this. Andrew says, "Stop making excuses." Let me tell you, those guys are doers. They make stuff happen. Seriously, like Andrew's always sending me pictures of stuff they're doing in the shop, stuff they're building. Those guys rock. Yeah, appliance white, according to Uncle Sonny.
A Sawzall is your friend.
I was using a Sawzall this week. I was actually using a Sawzall to take out a tree stump. I dug down around it, and I used the big old alligator-looking bit that's about a foot long.
Yeah.
I went in there and trimmed roots down below the ground. We're pretty good, actually.
Yeah, my wife got really upset with me one time. I was trimming our walnut tree, and I had an extension ladder up on the limb, and I was cutting the other side of the limb off with a Sawzall. She got a little twisted up.
Andrew says, yeah, go ahead and run 26 10.5 off 14. Yeah. I've seen guys run some crazy wide rims with their tires and with good results, really good results. Tires seem to like it, actually, hook better. Which is kind of a thing with the Dart Sport is I don't quite it will be nice from a performance standpoint to have more rim width on it, but if you do that, it absolutely does not look era correct because nobody was doing that back then. Nobody was running 2, 3, 4 inch wider wheel than tire then. Yeah, the tire is supposed to be 28, 10.5, 15 or smaller, or 275, 60, 15 or smaller. But then again, I don't know that you have to have a 14-inch rim. I'd have to go back and reference it, but it's not usually a thing. Most people don't worry about it. Yeah, Dust Devil's right. You can run 28, 10.5 on a 12-inch rim. At No Name Nationals, did Venom win the 28 10.5? Yes. That car's a beast, and it's got a lot left in it, too. Speaking of winners, Here's Charger 383 Mopar William, and notice his picture there. That's him in the Burnout competition. That's his contact picture that I have for him.
That's a nice picture.
It is a nice picture. It was great. See, that was something about that Burnout competition under the lights like that I thought was great.
That backlighting just sets it off.
Well, see, that's
until you can't see through the smoke anymore.
Venom was greased lighting, but I'm going to tell you, Venom's going to have a target next year. I think Daniel there, Redbeard's going to have his work cut out for him. Yeah, William, go ahead. It's pinned in the link is pinned. Come on, man. Tubes and screws. Yeah, I'm old school like that, but I got to tell you, the beadlock thing is pretty sweet. But if you want a vintage look, it doesn't look right at all. Yeah, you can run the 2810.5 with 2016. Yeah, you can. In fact, Roland did. Roland gave up a first-round buy run because he's just a nice guy like that to Sam. He gave up guaranteed points in 28-10-5. What's going on, William?
Not much. I was just make sure my mic was down.
Oh my gosh,
John, do you mind if I send a picture of what I sent you to Destroyer 1320, and he loves the idea.
Of course he did. I knew he'd be all about it.
You mind if I show a sneak peek at what the Burnout Trophy is going to look like next year?
Yeah. So William, and what I'd like to see. And I'll just go ahead and tell you, since William's going to mention it just overall. The trophy for the worst oil down next year is going to have parts from Big Block 402's grenaded engine. And the trophy for the Burnout competition, the Destroyer 1320 Burnout competition, is going to have.
This is just the very first attempt, but this is the steel belt off of my tire. And at the bottom is actually the rubber, cast in resin.
Nice.
Yes.
I still need to get. I kind of went a little fast with this one. It's got some imperfections and some micro bubbles in it, so I need to get a vacuum chamber to actually work a little slower with it and get all the air bubbles out and work a little bit slower with it. But yeah, that's what it's going to look like.
Isn't that neat?
Basic idea. I love it.
But that's authentic. So what I would love to see is every year I'd like to see the winner contribute that.
There's the bottom side. Really cool. I thought about sanding the bottom side, but I think it actually looks pretty cool seeing all of the rubber pieces.
Yeah. So I would love to see that be a thing. I mean, that's good tradition. It makes the event much better.
Yeah, I was going to say I like it with the bubbles in it too because it's authentic. I mean, it's just it's real. I mean, it's not perfection. You know what I mean?
Yeah, you like that, Dust Devil? Isn't that cool?
Well, this first one is mine. I'm keeping this one for myself.
Yeah.
But I think I should have enough materials to make two more. I'm going to send one to John, and I'm going to send one to I think it's Eric at the Destroyer 1320, so he can have it for the trophy next year. I figured it's I think this is a 3-inch cube, so you should be able to have like a 3-inch plaque or something sticky on there.
Well, we'll make it uniform with the others, but yeah. And that's something that other events don't do.
I've actually still got it next to me. The Let's Resin kit. I bought it on Amazon.
There you go. That's some clock going on there, Mike.
Yeah. This is actually the very first test piece I did. It's like a blue coloring and some leftover clear I had on top. Just as a test.
And I had he says she left the tire on the ground.
Pretty much. Oh, and the leftover bit, the leftover resin and rubber mix, I left in my mixing bowl, so now I have a coaster.
Nice.
Yeah,
Hey,
I like it.
the tire tracks that William left in the burnout pit, it reminded me of Back to the Future when you had the two flake
Yeah.
tire tracks going into the
Yeah.
time travel.
Yeah, I was wanting to do this with. I actually saved the rubber from my first burnout that was over 10 years ago. I was wanting to do this with that, but I don't have any steel belt or anything from that, so it's just going to be a black cube that's slightly see-through in spots.
Buff
Yeah,
Del
straight
Campo has many of those coasters. How you doing, Buff?
I've never messed with epoxy resin before, so it was fun. It was fun to try to play with it.
I can see the appeal of that. I watched some of these. They making these tabletops with the resin and this and that. It's like, man,
I've actually got a wooden staff that it's got a cool looking knot at the end of it, but it had some really soft wood at the top and in the center of it that I was able to hollow out. So it's actually got a real nice cavity in there. I thought about plugging up any of the holes that might leak and then just filling it up with some epoxy with some glow in the dark powder in it.
Hey, Patrick, were you in Paris, France, or Paris, Tennessee?
Maybe Paris, Arkansas. We got one here too.
We have a Parisburg, Virginia.
never been to either of those Parises.
I think he probably went to the gay Paris.
Well, that's definitely not Paris, Tennessee.
Or Arkansas. There's a Paris, California too.
I've never been anywhere like that. I've never been out of the country unless you count international waters. So
yeah.
Nope, me and both don't belong.
So William wants to defend his title. Do you think you want to share about what you plan to do, or is that all going to be classified until that Friday night?
Well, I will say this: I will try my best to do at least a few donuts, but
Okay.
that's all I'm saying.
Okay, fair enough.
If I hint or say anything else, it's going to give away the surprise I'm trying to have for it.
All right, fair enough.
Fair enough.
Patrick said they walked at least 12 miles a day in Paris, France.
Wow.
Yeah, I know that not all of Paris is what you see on the postcards. That's for sure.
Right.
Place I would love to visit one day is Sydney, Australia.
I've always wanted to go to Rome and to Greece because all the old architecture, the Colosseum, the Parthenon, all those structures that have been there for thousands of years and still there.
Yeah,
still there.
I used to work at I used to work at FedEx, and one of the destinations our slide handled was Sydney and Melbourne, Australia, Auckland, New Zealand, and Hawaii. So either New Zealand or Sydney, Australia. I wouldn't mind going to one of those places one day.
Ron English is asking how Jethro is doing. This is how he was doing today. He was napping under the tree in the sunshine while I painted that wall.
He was soaking it up.
Looked like he's doing just fine.
He was having more fun than I was, I can tell you that.
Yeah.
You got to enjoy them when you can. I'm sure he's keeping tabs on you.
He definitely keeps tabs on me. Got some guys that are getting ready to do the dormers up there. Oh, that's going to be so much fun getting that done.
Mm-hmm.
Trying to get all the outside done before winter. And it is really fighting me.
A lot of ladder work.
painting that wall, it's never been painted. So most of the foundation's been painted before, but that part, my grandfather never painted it because it was behind juniper. So he just never painted it. Well,
Right.
you know, so I'm putting a couple coats on it. It'll be all right. It's all coming together. It's just so much work.
No.
That's a nice thing about living in the Mid-South. We pretty much only see ice and snow once, maybe twice a year. So you pretty much have good weather all year round. You can drive a classic car year round if you don't mind the cold. So it rarely they do put brine on the road, but like I said, only like once or twice a year. That's it.
And around here, they use a beet juice mix instead of putting down salt.
Really?
And yeah, that beet juice is what they melt the ice with here.
Really?
Never knew that.
Is it non-corrosive?
Yep. And
That's what they should be using everywhere then.
yeah, I guarantee it. It's pretty funny because Missouri started doing that. And when you hit, I live right on the Missouri-Arkansas line. And when you hit the Arkansas line, it was like a solid sheet of ice, and Missouri Road was just clear. And it made Arkansas look really bad. So the next winter, they were like, we better get on board.
Yeah. Yeah, it's amazing how you can tell boundary lines just by how the roads are taken care of.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Well, and I'm still getting ready for winter too. That's part of why I've been not doing any YouTube videos. I've been so busy with cutting wood. I've got about 10 rick cut and stacked now, but I need about probably 4 or 5 more to get through winter. I mean, because we already had to start building a fire. We already had our first couple of freezing nights here. And usually that doesn't happen until November. So I'm like, well, I don't want to be cutting wood in February or March, whatever. So I'm going to cut 3 or 4 or 5 extra rick.
Yeah.
So I'm trying to get the outside done because I could go back inside to finish up. But this is some of the stuff I've been doing this year. If you look at that, you can see where I framed an entire wall. And then in there, had to, redo the joist and rebuild the header. I mean,
nice.
That room had to get jacked up 11 inches on one corner.
Wow.
Yeah. On the northwest corner, that room was down 11 inches.
Dang.
That room about fell off into the backyard. It was so bad.
I guess.
I mean, it's just unreal. I mean, building back entire floors, joist the whole length. It's been a huge job, but it's gone well.
Yeah, but look what you'll have when you're done.
That was when the roof was going on earlier.
Yeah.
So anyway, I've been doing soffit. Did soffit yesterday. Fascia boards.
I like doing soffit fascia.
And anyway, in the middle, Jeffrey just switches to the other side and lays down, of course.
Mm-hmm.
Can't be disturbed by anything. That construction doesn't bother him at all.
Well, he's over there giving you a weather report.
Exactly. Reminded me how much nicer it'd be to be laying in the sun on a 65-degree day with no wind.
No wind.
Oh, pressure washing. Oh gosh, I pressure wash so much. I don't realize how much splatter you get from pressure washing until you do enough of it. I look like I had been undercoated from running that pressure wash.
Oh yeah, you wear it.
Dang.
Yeah. I did the deck earlier in the summer, and the wind was blowing to the neighbors, and it's like, oh my God, am I getting you over there? Oh no.
I haven't turned the furnace on yet either, Ron. I haven't turned the furnace on. I'm debating getting another boiler for it. Just dreading it because those things are not cheap.
Yeah, we haven't used our furnace. We have central heat and all that, and we got our propane tank filled, just in case kind of thing, But we heat with wood because, man, propane it's stupid expensive. And
I used to have fuel oil heat, and I converted over to gas because I got a deal on a year-old furnace, and it's nice being able to just turn up the thermostat.
Yeah. Well, it's just we have so much wood down here on the property too. You know,
Oh,
I mean, it serves a dual purpose because I have to clean my fence rows. I have trees down. You know, I mean, I might as well just go ahead and use it. You know, and I have trees that need to be tended to. So
throw it on the pile.
Hey, unfinished project. If you're looking for 14-inch tires, go to TireRack.com and Sam's Club's website. And be careful on them because there's a lot of trailer tires mixed in those 14s. You don't want to accidentally get those if you're looking for car tires.
yeah, the other thing I had to do is I had to finish up my garden, and I got all my tomato plants pulled, my pepper plants, all that stuff that, you know, the last of it. And I dug up my potatoes, the last of my sweet potatoes. I'll show you. I got a couple decent sweet potatoes.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, wow. Good God.
Nice.
Yeah, that's the last of my sweet potatoes.
That's a whole sweet potato pie right there.
There's a few. Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, we got potatoes dug up. That's always a treat, digging up potatoes with Gramps.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, and our red potatoes, they didn't do as well this year just because it was so dry, you know. And
that's why it was up here. I had a bunch of stewed tomatoes, just the little things.
Right. I had quite a few smaller potatoes, but my tomatoes did pretty good. I mean, they do really good in the heat. As long as you keep them watered, they'll do really good in the heat.
Yeah, it was dry for quite a while there in the growing
Oh
season.
my gosh, we hit 44 days we went without rain.
The Mississippi River is currently at a record low.
Yeah, we went 44 days without rain, and then it rained for like 2 days, and then didn't rain again for like 45 days. It was ridiculous.
Thanks for nothing.
I read about this. This track just opened this past weekend. I'm going to make this larger so you guys can see it. This is a new drag strip that opened in West Virginia this past weekend.
That's pretty scary.
It's 660 feet of concrete. It's got about 1,300 and some paved feet of shutdown and a 200-foot sand trap. And it's built on a coal mine, a reclaimed coal mine.
Oh, I see. It's on them strip pits.
Yes.
Yeah, it's built on strip pits.
What's after that little bit on the end? How sheer of a drop is that?
I have no idea. 200 feet stops you. Now, the thing I found interesting about this, you can clearly tell the contractor is not a racer at all. And the reason I know, it's 660 feet of concrete, but it's got a concrete water box, and then it's pavement before you get to the cone that's supposed to be at, what is it? The 584 cone? That's the one before the 660. It's pavement well before that. So they made all their water box and stuff concrete, and then the concrete doesn't go through the finish line. Somebody just wasn't thinking when they made that.
Huh.
So whatever.
That's going to be a rough ending if you're hammering through.
It's not hard to fix. You could move it back because right now they don't have any tower yet. They don't have any stands yet. If they do it now, they can fix that. And they can, pave their water box and everything. Hot Rod Nation's asking what part of West Virginia. It's just south of Huntington. So it's near the Ohio, Kentucky, West Virginia border on the farthest western part of West Virginia. It's about 2.5 hours from here, 3 hours from here. I'll go check it out. Junk Car Willie lives real near there. I'm sure I'll go check it out. But the Kanawha Valley Dragway is reopening here also. So they're getting 2 drag strips open that were not open before. Pretty exciting stuff.
I just saw that what Doug wrote. All them taters would make fine race fuel.
Yes, Thumper can make E100 out of them.
Out of sweet potatoes?
He could. Oh yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah. Thumper likes that. He says cattails. He says cattails are really.
Yeah.
Really
well, I saw that live. I watched that live that he was doing, talking about that, and
that was interesting stuff.
Yeah.
Hot Rod Nation, how far are you from How far are you from that area? Levi says AHREs to hop on those tracks. Well, one of them, the guy seems to be an IHRA fanboy. The other one, I think, is a good candidate for AHRA. So we'll see. We'll see. I think that'd be great.
Oh,
Car hobby
John.
on an uptick. Well, it's not the car hobby. There's plenty of car hobby. It's just we need more people that are into sportsman racing. That's the big part of it. And YouTube is ripe with that.
Hey, John, did you get the stickers I sent you?
Yes, I did, and I've got. I'm glad you said that. I've got them. They're going back here, so I'm working on some stuff to redesign this. You'll see it. I'm waiting on somebody that's slower than molasses running down a tree in January, and as soon as he gets something done for me, you're gonna see a big change back here. So
okay, cool.
But yeah, that's your sticker will be there with it, along with Mike's. I've got several. I've got ready to go on that board.
The Carnage wall.
Well, gents,
It's
I'm gonna
not
hop
just-
off of here.
Not just carnage.
I'm gonna take off. I got a few other things I got to do before bedtime and all that, and I'm thinking about making some little corn muffins and having that with the chili. So I make those little bitty mini muffins. You know what I mean? So you give them a sample of chili and you give them a little mini muffin. You know what I mean?
Now, Mike, is cornbread? Is it sweet where you live? It's not, is it?
No.
Good. Okay. Good. Because
No.
I call that Yankee cornbread when they make it real
no.
sweet.
If we do anything weird to our cornbread, we'll put a little bit of diced jalapeno in it.
So if you go to Virginia Tech, they got their big dining hall there for the students, West End Market. They have this stuff they call cornbread. And I don't know who from New York brought that down with them, but it's not cornbread. It's like some kind of this nasty pound cake.
Sweet bread.
It's not cornbread. And it's anyway, yeah, cornbread's not supposed to be sweet, but I didn't know what they had where you live, but I figured it was regular cornbread.
Well, I make all mine from scratch, obviously. You know, I mean, I do everything like that. But
yeah, the mixes are real sweet.
Yeah, I don't use any of that Jiffy mix or none of that stuff. I just
never cared for cornbread. I'm a biscuit guy.
Well, make scratch biscuits, done right, are really good.
I make my grandma's old cat head biscuits in a cast iron skillet, and they're about that big around.
Yeah,
and crumble up real nice so you can cover them with gravy.
Jody, you're right. It is nasty. Gravy. Unfinished project says finds no results for 2016 and 14. I can tell you for a fact that Mickey Thompson at least used to and probably still does make a 26, 10.5, 14 slick.
All right, guys, I'm out. I'll holler at y'all later. Y'all have a good night.
Thank you, Mike.
We'll see you around.
See, Dust Devil likes both, but Dust Devil is from up north, so it's understandable.
There's a Christian comedian that we've listened to for a while, Mark Lowry. He was also in the Gaither Vocal Band.
Okay.
Yeah, he had a special in the early 90s, Remotely Controlled. I think it's on YouTube. I highly recommend watching it. It is hilarious. One of the lines he says in it is, don't put sugar in your cornbread either. That is not of God.
No, it's twisted. Okay, Dust Devil likes biscuits from a can. Okay, I'll move right along from that comment for your sake, Brian. Aaron says we don't do cornbread or biscuits here. What is that?
I don't know.
That?
I don't know, but we can't be friends anymore.
All I know is you can't beat fresh cornbread out of the oven with butter on it.
I'm not crazy about cornbread, but I'll eat it. I like it with the chili.
It's all right.
Yeah.
Cornbread's all right.
It's like liver. I don't like it, but I'll eat it. It's not that bad
for me.
I don't know. I'm a sausage, gravy, and biscuits kind of guy.
Yeah, that stuff over at West End Market is not cornbread. I don't know what it is, but it's not cornbread. I mean, it might make a pretty good caulk if you could run it through a caulking gun.
Right.
Probably could.
Saying with
Cornbread
these,
hot bowl chili, indeed.
well, with these days getting shorter, man, I can't believe how early daylight's getting now. When's daylight savings?
Yeah,
That's in another 2 weeks, isn't it? Daylight savings.
yeah, I think so. Well,
Yes.
remember, it used to be a lot sooner.
Sometime in
than that.
November.
Nah.
It's November 6th.
They'll eventually make daylight time year round. I think it's next year they're doing that anyway. We'll have daylight time year round.
Yeah, it'll just won't get daylight till 8 o'clock in the morning. Is all.
Yeah, that's what that'll mean. You're right.
That'll be weird.
But it won't get dark till 6.
Oh gosh, dust devil. I also eat peanut butter sandwiches with chili. I guess.
To each their own, but you can have that.
Yeah, Levi's broken a bunch of stuff. Melted a transmission filter. I'd imagine you've broken a lot of stuff. Broken a sprag. Yep.
Oh, did you see? I think it's a Big Block 402 with the candy cane.
Yeah.
Did you see his videos on the carnage from his motor?
Yeah. Oh yeah. In fact, a piece of that carnage is headed to me. It right now is in transit.
All right.
Yeah, that was completely destroyed that cylinder.
Yeah, he used it up.
Tony's Hot Rod Garage says we don't use daylight savings time in Arizona. And Patrick, I knew Arizona and Indiana both did something different with that. Here in Indiana, we didn't used to acknowledge it, but the governor got it passed. So there you go.
It's always been a thing, as far as I know, in North Mississippi.
Yeah.
In this part of the country, anyway.
They've done that in Virginia my whole life.
2 hacks.
Yep. I see Ed. I don't know if he's talking to me or another John, but I saw Ed slide in here earlier. 2 hacks is in the house. Throwing 3 checkered flags from his stand there. 2 hacks who is a nice guy but doesn't have me figured out. Just a little reference to the Hater Live, if y'all caught any of that last night. But anyway,
I watched it for about 5, 6, 7 minutes, and I just couldn't listen anymore. I had to go do something.
Yeah.
It's like the annoying kid next door. You can only stand it so long.
Yeah.
Walk
But
away.
anyway.
Yeah.
Yeah. Doing something a little different tonight, Jeff. I didn't want to push to book a guest. Too many people that I thought about reaching out to. I know you've got so much going on, me included. We just said, I'm going to do something different. I'm just going to go live, post a link. Anybody wants to jump in, we can. We've been having fun. We've been talking about working on old houses, been talking about cornbread and chili and all kind of fun stuff tonight.
Undercoating,
not putting the undercoating in the chili. But those of you who may have missed it, William is going to have a piece for the trophy for the Burnout competition winner, No Name Nationals. Check that out.
This is a resin cube with the steel belt from my tire, and the bottom is the. This was basically my test piece, but I've got enough material to make 2 more. I'm going to be a little bit more careful with, and I'm going to send one to John, and I'm going to send one to Destroyer 1320 for the trophy next year.
Yeah, that's going to be cool. I'm hoping that more people will be able to contribute stuff like that. I've got some ideas for that, but that's something we want to do.
Yeah, I think that would be really cool to help tie in the shows from year to year. If you have some kind of carnage, hopefully you don't, but if you do,
you make it as the trophy for the following.
So one thing I'm going to say is a qualifier, because everybody's got carnage. Everybody wants their carnage memorialized. But I'll say this: I want our class winners and our award winners to contribute part of the carnage in the award. Okay. So I'm going to be reaching out to Square Body Chad. He's usually in here, but I'm going to be reaching out to Square Body Chad and say, hey, man, I doubt you're going to put that drive shaft in permanently. If you want to contribute a piece to the trophy, that kind of thing. And William, of course, and part of the 402 big block that got grenaded on that track will be part of the worst oil down trophy next year. So that's something I want to become a part of the tradition of this event.
Yeah, and who knows what next year will bring.
And I got to say, the community is awesome. Anything like that I've ever asked for or needed to be in the event, it's like everybody's just been, oh, yeah, absolutely, in the mail. And it's just been great. And it's great. Thank you, guys. You've all been just great in that regard. Nobody's been the least bit difficult, and it contributes to the event. And just keep refining and moving that way forward. Yeah, the NSB's in the house. How you doing? How is your flood cleanup going? Those guys are warriors. They had flood damage. Said there's nothing we can do here. Brother's going to watch the fort. We're going to go race and hang out with our friends and come back and fix it when we get home. So how'd it go, Lee? We got Wendy hungry. Wendy keeps talking about food.
That's what I was saying. With these longer days, the crock pot gets going more, and
yeah. Ah, okay. Yeah, Jeff's got me a souvenir from the mangled from the hood pin thing. Levi said he's been to some high dollar events that don't even come close to the fun I had just watching the No Name Nationals. Well, it's funny you say that, Levi. We have one person who says that I don't know anything about running an event, and that I'm just like the Antichrist to this guy. But yeah, and the funny thing is he's the only one that thinks that. So anyway, I guess all of you are wrong, according to him. But I'm telling you, that's I put everything on hold to try to give you guys the best stage to have as much fun as you could possibly have. That's what we wanted to do.
So think about it. As a good portion of the people that were there were just there to be there to fellowship with people they've only seen on a phone or computer screen.
Exactly.
They were there for the fellowship and to have fun.
That's right. Ricky Jerry's in the house.
Where else could you could look across the field and it's like, there's Blake, there's Jerry,
That's it. And you knew who they were. Uh-oh, got somebody ringing the doorbell. Here goes the neighborhood.
Tony's
Can you hear me okay?
Garage. What's going on, man?
Oh, just checking out this rig. How's it sound? How's the audio?
Sounds great.
Oh, it sounds perfect.
Right on.
Oh, no, Doug, you absolutely can't. But the irony is that we can please virtually all of them. Seems like we pleased everybody who was there. But anyway, I don't know. It's just an observation.
I didn't see anybody that wasn't having a good time.
Oh, no, everybody had a great time. NSB saying Dean's been cleaning up. He had to take care of his mom, come to Vanderbilt. Oh, yeah, man, take care of your mom. And glad to hear you guys are getting stuff sorted out down there. That was a rough surprise to have right before. Yeah, it was like Cheers where everybody knows your name.
Yeah, it was.
Dust Devil goes to 5 or 6 big events a year, and the NNN is the only one I wish was longer. Well, one thing I can tell you we are going to do, there's a lot of things that we're not saying just yet because we try to get things right and announce them once and so forth. We're going to make Thursday an official day next year. This year it was an unofficial day. Next year, Thursday will be an official day. Doesn't mean we're piling stuff into Thursday, but what it does mean is for one, we're going to have tech open on Thursday because we found that a lot of people, in fact, most people wanted to come on Thursday. Okay, fine by us. That's fine. It means that Dallas and I have to be there a little earlier to make sure we're set up ahead of time, but that works out. But we'll get tech open sooner, and we got some things planned formally for Thursday. I think you're going to really enjoy.
I will say this about Thursday: if I'd have known that there was going to be people there already, I should have already been thinking that. But if I'd known that people were going to be there already and just setting up and just having fun already, I'd have been there Thursday.
Well, I'll tell you. So Thursday it's supposed to just be a work day, but there's a lot of people there. But that said, we kind of anticipated that it was going to be swarming because we were kind of getting reports of that. So I'm like, well, Dallas, I'm going to go out on Tuesday because I have a feeling we're going to need that extra day. And it worked out. Worked out fine. But Thursday will be a codified day. We will be out even earlier for setup, et cetera, et cetera. And so it will kind of be longer in that regard. But
yeah, I think Thursdays when Brian discovered the grilled Slim Jim.
Was it Thursday night?
It was Thursday
so, yeah.
night.
He sends me a text. Hey, man, you got to come back here. I just discovered the greatest thing. It's like he discovered the wheel or fire or something, and it was grilled Slim Jim. Yeah, Thursday was a blast. Thursday was great. Dancing Alone with Reynolds said, what did the track owners think of the event? Larry Jeffers, he liked it. He was all for it. We saw him on Sunday. He said, man, he couldn't be there. He had somewhere he had to be, but he said, man, I heard it was great. And he was looking around at the grounds. And the grounds were cleaner on Sunday than they were when we got there. You guys were exceptional at leaving that place. I mean, no one left any trash on the ground, literally. I couldn't see a thing. I bet all the trash in my hand was just little things like little seals out of oil jugs and stuff. They could fit in the palm of my hand, blown by the wind. Right. It was the best I have ever seen a crowd that big clean up in my life. Very proud of that. He was also happy what you guys did in concession revenue. It was really good. Yeah, you guys really cleaned the concession stands out. So we know more what we need to plan for in that. We got lots of, I think we got 100 little changes that are going to make things run smoother, but by and large, we're going to do something very, very similar.
Definitely looking forward to next year, and I will definitely do my best to get the Cushman down there next year too.
That sounds great. Sounds great. Yeah,
I've got some things in the works myself.
Oh yeah, we're gonna see an entry from Tony's Hot Rod Garage.
Oh, you bet.
I figured as much.
I think I showed you at the event, John. Didn't I show you a picture of my big block?
Yep.
That's going in my truck. That's going to be what I enter.
Yeah, I hear the concession was good. I mean, man, I was so busy. There's a lot, we didn't eat. I know Dallas and I we get to the end of the day and we're just starving, but that's the way it went. It was just really, really busy. So we're going to try to work on that for ourselves and our sanity for next year.
I waited too long to get some nachos. They were all sold out.
Oh yeah, the nachos sold out quick. That's what I heard.
Yeah, there was a line all day.
That's what I heard. The nachos sold out quickly.
Those walk-in tacos were really good too.
Yeah, that's what everybody says. That was their thing. But yeah, we're working on what we're going to do for next year. It's planning is well in full swing. We're going to have some announcements for you guys here pretty soon. In fact, we're going to have some announcements for you guys within 5 to 8 weeks, somewhere in that time frame for sure. But we may have some smaller announcements along the way.
Nice.
But you will see a number appear back here before too long.
Looking forward to that.
Yeah. Yep. It's just getting the end of year stuff sorted out with the tracks and track owners and seasons and sanctioning and all that stuff is what we have to get sorted out. And then a number will appear back here and then it's on like Donkey Kong. Here we go.
Yeah.
And so we already know we're going to have a bunch more cars. We already know we're going to have a bunch more people. We already know that a lot of the people who were there and brought cars are going to come back and bring faster cars. Look at that. I say faster cars, and look who appears.
James and
The James and James show. So, yeah, we're looking at the one thing I'm kind of curious about. I really don't have much of an idea how it's going to shape up is what, and again, I'm not promising any number, but what next year's equivalent of the No Name 500 is going to look like. I don't know, because obviously there's so many, there's going to be so many folks who know it's coming now. What will the No Name 500 look like for next year? I don't know. That'll be curious.
I will say this: the Burnout competition next year is going to be bigger and even more epic.
Without a doubt, we'll have at least. I can't imagine any scenario where we're not going to have twice the entries in that. It'll be wilder. We are already working on that. Another car show the night before. Yes, we are. And judging by the fact that we overflowed the west side of the lot at Lambert's, if we are back at Sykeston next year, we'll have the east side. We've already talked to the owners. He was thrilled. He loved it. He thought it was great. They were happy with us. Good crowd, and we'll probably move to the east side if we're back there because we just overflowed. We ran out of room. Good problem to have, right?
Yeah, well, they handled it. They handled us just well, though. That was
the owner. We talked to the owner, Scott. We talked to him, and he was very accommodating. Lambert's is great. They thrilled with us. Glad we came. They're down with us. Think it's great. James
Lambert's was a good time.
You're gonna have to race. You're gonna have to race Jay and Jason. They were 1 and 2. Actually, they were 1 and 3 last year. But no, registration will open. When you see a number back here on the paper, registration will be open. So that's the deal. Yeah, the No Name 1000 Shopcat saying you never know. Maybe. I've got an idea that we may do, but bottom line is that the way that shorts are changing things, it may have to become a No Name 1000. Because look how many people we had go from, Street Fox went from 200 subscribers up to 10,000. But he did it
really
with the shorts. So, what I'd like to see is more people doing long format content, introducing themselves, what they're working on, and not just shorts for clicks. That's the difference. If we didn't have shorts, I could say with a lot of confidence, 500 would be no question the number again. But shorts have kind of changed that.
Shorts definitely do help with the subs.
Well, they help with the subs, but they don't help with establishing who you and your channel are and what you're working in your garage and people getting to know you. They don't do anything like that.
Yeah.
That's the problem.
I think the shorts help draw people in, and then they come to your channel and then they see all your content.
James and James, you're okay anyway, because what I think we're going to do, again, I'm not making anything official here at all, okay? I'm not speaking unilaterally, but what will likely happen is we want to make sure everybody who was in last year is in this year, because I'm just speaking for me, not Dallas, but I hate to see people have to fight their way in twice. But see, that said, anybody who got 500 should have 1,000 next year anyway. Really, because the first 500 is so much harder to get than the next 500. And you start to see that at the end of getting 500 subs, you're starting to get them at a faster rate. Because now more people see you, you get in the machine more, you get in the suggestions more, you get a community tab. Your next 500 comes way faster than your first 500.
It could also be a thing where if you went to the first show, you're kind of grandfathered in, and you don't have to worry about hitting whatever number is if it changes from 500.
But the main thing is
just an idea.
The main thing is hammer down, do the content, and don't worry about it. The rest will come. Buff, I already have a YouTube handle. In fact, most people do anyway. My handle's at John Wilburn, but it was anyway. If you type that in, it would come up. No, I'm not going to make it that because YouTube is making no barrier to monetization. I think that's another mistake. Because what that will do is guarantees a bunch of watered down garbage content from bots just flooding YouTube.
Yeah, it will.
I mean, look okay. You remember what flea markets were like when we were kids, right? It was people that would find stuff and flip it and sell it, and they were really cool. And then flea markets became where people would just peddle all of this Chinese junk, right? And leave them set up and indoors. And so the outdoor flea markets where everybody had to set up and tear down in one day were always much higher quality than when people could leave them set up all the time. It just became a place. It became the Harbor Freight of,
right.
of non-tools, right?
Yeah, they did.
That's what we're trying to avoid. So YouTube is making that hard. They're trying to make sub counts and so forth. They're trying to turn them into the Harbor Freight, and that's not what we're looking for. We're looking for the quality, the people that want to come in and make channels, say who you are, original content, and that is what makes for a wonderful crowd at an event. And that's exactly what it did this year. I think it's extremely hard to dispute that it worked extremely well this year because that's what we had. We all knew each other when we got there. We all knew what each other was working on, each other's projects. It's exactly what we want. We don't want it to become like a detached process. But yes, we know shorts get subs. We know that. Irish Outlaw, yes, we know that. But we want to keep the content. You have
I think
a good
YouTube
mix
is
of
actually.
yeah.
I thought I heard something that YouTube was actually talking about being able to monetize the shorts too.
Well, yeah. See, YouTube is going to make it just a free for all. I really hate that. I really hate what YouTube's doing there.
They're just looking for numbers.
Dust Devil says you have to have a good mix of shorts and long form content. Uncle Tony's Garage done one short, has 266,000 subs. You know you don't. But shorts, no doubt about it, they'll help you get clicks and subs and stuff. But shorts will not build a community around your channel the same way. That it won't.
No, because the videos just simply aren't long
Exactly.
enough.
They attract the things people, not the idea people. There is a little bit of difference about that. Levi's already worried about his subs. My aunt Nancy loved watching the Levi getting his 500 subs saga. Yeah, see, James misses the old school flea markets and swap. Exactly.
It used to be where you could go find what you needed.
Yeah, and you could find some really cool stuff there too.
Like John's saying, now it's just turned into a what's off the boat.
Most of them have. Most of them have turned into junk. Mexican Spec says, how many subs to start making money on YouTube? I heard 50,000. I mean, I probably make $100 a month. I have 20, 30, 40 something.
The best way to check if your channel can make money is just reach out to YouTube. Your YouTube studio should have some kind of a monetization tab where you can ask questions. Yep. Or I think when I signed up for my monetization, you had to have at least 1,000 subs and a certain number of watch hours. 4,000. I was already well past that. But now I think they are trying to cater to smaller channels. So you would just have to reach out.
And I got no problem with smaller channels making money. I think that's great and fine. But what I'm afraid will happen is that you'll practically have just bot accounts that are just scraping all the revenue away, stealing it from guys who have established channels and work for it. That's not fair.
Oh yeah,
it's kind of like. By the way, Max Wedge, I'm glad. I look forward to seeing you at No Name Nationals. Let's let Jeff in the chat.
So the monetization, 4,000 community watch hours, which isn't shorts.
What's happening,
1,000
Jeff?
subscribers, 2-factor authentication, and no strikes.
Right.
And then you can apply. They'll email you. And let you know.
They'll email you, but don't depend on that because there have been people who've waited for months for that email.
Right.
Go in your studio and just watch it when you're close.
Yeah, right.
I will say this: using copyrighted songs for like a video or two does not count against you. They just don't monetize that video.
It's a copyright claim, which is not the same as a copyright strike.
Yeah.
Which means that they'll still monetize it, but you're not getting the monetization. The claimant is. Okay. So I know that William looks like a fan of gangster rap. So if William has his favorite gangster rap in his video, and it gets claimed by the artist will get the money off of that and not William. But it's not a strike, it's a claim. Kind of like what happened. I had a video from a radiator shop, the radiator getting soldered, and the guy had the doors on the radio behind him. And Elektra Records did a claim on the monetization. So it runs commercials and they get that revenue instead of me. But it's not a strike.
I think a long time ago, I actually had one video I had a copyrighted song in, and it had shared revenue where I got some of it and the copyright owner got some of it. But I'm pretty sure that's changed now.
Yeah, they have a share. They can share it now. I never thought about Jeff being Lex Luthor, but that's
Mr. Clean.
I see it now. Unfinished project says life's not fair. Work around it. Well, work around it, but don't cheat. You don't need to cheat. You're too smart to have to cheat. I can say this: life's not fair. One of the guys that I did firearm training with said something I thought was really smart. Jay Gibbs. Jay is one of the toughest, hardest working people I've ever met in my life, and he said that fair is a place to go eat cotton candy and play rigged carnival games. Fair is not a condition of life.
And that's a fact.
And Jay is spot on. Street Fox in the
I
house.
always saw people that would complain about life not being fair. Said you got one of two options: buy a helmet or a box of Kleenex.
Yeah, there's
Take
no
it head on or
fair
cry
going on at all.
Yeah, pretty much.
Yeah, there's no fair is not a condition of life.
Nope.
And when you make peace
Okay,
with
so
that, you do
Dean
better.
says something. He's never seen me wear a cap. The problem is if I wear a hat, people ask me if I have something wrong with me or try to give me change.
You know what I'll do? I'll wear a hood.
Yeah, I wear one of these a lot in the wintertime, but like my garage is heated, so I don't have to really worry about it unless I go outside. By the way, real quick, I sold some automotive stuff today, and the guy picked it up. Gave me a really good offer on my Thunderbird, and I refused it.
Oh.
Yeah, don't be selling that bird, Jeff.
No. Yeah.
You owe me a race.
We're going to race for a lot of fun. Yes. Oh, my God.
Nice.
Well, you said wear a hat, so.
Hey, Jeff.
Yeah.
Did you see the Burnout trophy for next year?
Yes,
No,
check
I
this
haven't.
out. I'm going to make William full screen for this.
Oh, nice.
This is the steel belt off of the tire, and the bottom is rubber.
That will be the topper on the trophy, to be exact.
That is really awesome. I used to do a lot of resin stuff, but that is like the cat's ass right there.
Isn't that cool?
This was just my very first piece. I'm pretty sure I have enough material to make two more. One's going to go to John. One's going to go to Destroyer 1320.
I wouldn't show that to John until you figure him out yet.
Yeah, well, so the deal is, part of the trophy for the worst oil down award will be from the engine of Big Block 402. It's en route to me right now. Part of the Burnout trophy will be from Williams Tires. So that's something cool and different about this event. So
Dust Devil says you could sell the bird and get a Mopar. Well, I've got 2 Mopars, and I don't need to sell the bird to build the Mopar, so that's a good thing.
Yeah, I got to see the bird. He hadn't brought it yet, so.
No, the thing is like my son was sitting there, and this guy was laying stacks of 100s on the hood. Said, "I'll be back in 6 hours. I want this car." And I said, "No," and I explained to him and everything, and I just said I couldn't do it. I would just be sick to my stomach, even though it was a really good, really good offer, but wouldn't do it.
Did you once think about it?
No.
Okay.
No, I mean, it was a straight up no. It was one of those things where it was like, I explained to him, like, hey, man, like, I'm not done with this car. I have goals with it. It's part of, like, something I'm doing with YouTube. I have, like, I did tell him that. I told him, like, my son and I are, kind of in on this together. And I said, I won't sell it. And he's like, what would the offer be?
J.G.
I told him a
Wentworth.
price. Yeah. So, yeah.
And by the way,
back. You're asking how much? About 8,000 more than I have in it. I'll just put it that way.
Ooh.
The guy had a 68 Torino, a 68 Cougar, a 68 Ford Mustang or Fastback, a 68 Ford Fairlane maybe, and he knows his Fords. Like, that's all he does. And he's like, I like this car, I want to buy it. He knew more about the Thunderbirds than I did on this car. And I'm like, nope,
yeah,
can't sell them.
I can see why you'd appreciate that one.
Yeah, that is pretty cool.
If you did sell it, it would always be that nagging question in your mind: what could I have done with it? What experiences am I missing out because I sold it?
That's pretty much what I told him. I told him where I was at with it, what my goals are, and he got it. And I said, well, I'd have to talk to the boss, and he goes, who's that? And I said, my son. My son was standing right there, and he's just like, nope.
No.
Brian says as long as you turn around and look at it every time you leave the garage, it's not time to sell.
Yeah. Exactly.
That's a fact.
That's a fact.
I turn back around and look at every single one of my vehicles when I walk away from them.
I was doing that today when I put shit away on working on a Valiant. Just look at it. Saying those wheel wells are going to be so white you don't need a flashlight.
Yeah.
And I got my front ones done. Got my suspension. I got an email from the guy today. I got to order a half a 62 front end and then the later or mid 70s ball joints. Work in progress. I got a list. of this to do, and everything has its own list. You got floors and
a hot rod project is never done.
Exactly.
This has been a long time coming. That's all right. It'll be the last time I do it, and I can see what I want when I'm done. So at least I'm staying on it. I'm trying to take advantage of these nicer days because we're going to lose them. Winter is going to come, and I'm going to want to put it away for the winter. But I figure I can work on the suspension in the cold.
Brian, did you ever you never downloaded that link I sent you, did you? I don't know if he ever did. I made Brian something from his car has the Steve Magnanti said it was cool. So there you go.
He wasn't lying.
He's farther ahead than a bunch of us then. Oh wow!
I've almost sold my 1970 Dodge pickup a couple of times, but it never felt right. So I took it off the market.
Yeah.
I'd never be able to sell these. Too much history.
I can't see how people can wheel and deal cars. I get too attached.
Yeah, me too.
I was attached to the Cushman as soon as I brought it home. Before I even really did anything with it, I was like, I'm never getting rid of this thing.
So Shopcat's got a question here for 2X. Wants to know how's the Baja coming along?
Line up parts and do a little research. My son's been busy with some stuff, so it's once he gets some free time, because he's the one who'll be doing the work, we'll start working on it.
2:30 a.m. Ron English. That's obscene. 2:30 in the morning. Ugh.
I used to have to do that crap. No more.
Yeah, I know Andy Wood goes in at 4:30 in the morning every day.
If I have mandatory overtime, I got to go in at 5:30, but that's few and far between right now, thankfully.
The only nice thing about when it's still dark is usually it's before it's windy. That's the only thing nice
Right.
about that earlier hours like that. Yeah, those cars are family cars. The white 62 Valiants. Hopefully we will see at least one, if not both, at the No Name Nationals next year. Rapid Transit Jay says he regrets selling every one of my 50-plus cars.
Oh, 50. That's insane.
Yeah, great day. "4 a.m. starts when it's snowing."
Ooh.
Yeah, I can deal with that. Ugh. I just hate winter.
No. I had a 79 Ford pickup before I picked up my 1970 Dodge pickup, and I sold it to get that Dodge pickup, and that's a vehicle that it was my first vehicle that I could call my own, but I really don't miss it.
Howdy, Al.
Hello, Al. Seeing him come on in.
I
Rapid
still
Transit.
own the first vehicle I ever bought.
I don't even know what happened to the first one we had. We had that thing on and off the road 3 or 4 times. It was a 67 Chevelle, 4-door, puke green, 6-cylinder, 2-speed automatic.
There's my
Look at
79.
old Ford, William.
Dark jade green with a champagne gold stripe on the side. It was a beautiful
Nice.
truck. I loved it. I painted it in college, actually.
I like the green.
I love that green. That's, as far as I know, that's the factory green, but it's a champagne gold stripe in the dent, and it's just, I loved it.
Makes it pop.
Yeah, that's a
Mhm.
good color scheme.
The hubcaps I also painted the champagne gold with a green stripe on it.
There you go.
You know, a lot of people are saying that they regret getting rid of their first car, and some people. How many of you guys in the chat have your first car on the screen? Jeff, Don, Tony, William. None of y'all have your first car.
Oh, I
No.
still do. Yeah,
Okay.
first and
Oh,
second.
I mean, I got my first hot rod car that I bought. Yeah.
No. First car.
Oh, no. That thing got freaking ditch hop, Dukes of Hazzard. I mean, it was.
Used up.
Oh, yeah. You could say it was used up when I got it.
Yeah,
Well, we
John, my
ended up-
71 Charger. I bought that
Yeah.
thing when I was 12 years old. Still own it today.
Yep. Me and Ronnie ended up owning that Chevelle together. Paid $400 for it, sight unseen.
Buffdale Campo's first was a 64 Galaxy. Had it for 17 years. You know what? I got
That's a cool
something
car.
cool. Check this out. It's my contact picture for Buffdale Campo. Let me see if I can do this. see if I can do this right. This is Buff's contact picture. Let's try to do this so you can see, because it is pretty cool. And then he can tell us about it.
Oh, is that a Mercury?
Yeah, check that out.
Oh, nice.
Oh, wow.
There's Buff. There's
Mercury
Buff.
Cougar.
Hey, Buff, tell them about the engine in that Cougar.
I like it already.
Tell them
Yeah,
about
no
the
kidding.
engine in that Cougar.
Good looking car.
Man, that focused well on that too. That was a good.
It did pretty good. Yeah, that's his contact picture.
I got a buddy that's got a 70 Eliminator, that Cougar Eliminator. He bought it off the showroom floor.
That's awesome.
That is way cool.
I'd love to go back to that era again.
You and me both, and I was never there.
John was talking about Back to the Future. I'd go back and buy a handful of cars.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, I would. Yeah. Cars, engines, parts, just buy it all up. Literally everything. Sock it away. Go back to now and be like, oh, yeah, I forgot to tell you guys about this.
So,
Warehouse.
Yeah,
Buff,
I only
Buff's
got
got
7 of them.
Buff's got it. 67 Cougar
327.
with a 327. It had an Edelbrock cross ram. TH400 and 556 gears.
So, question on that cross ram was that like the Mickey Thompson style cross ram where they were right side by side, or was it like the STR series Edelbrock cross rams on the Mopars that were staggered?
Yeah, Buff couldn't break that trans. Turbo 400. Yeah, those are like an automatic Lenco.
They're tough.
Max Wedge would trade me winter in a heartbeat. Yeah. Well, you got to remember, our winters, even in this part of the South, we're also 2,200 feet up. So speaking of these, the cars going back in time, here's a picture of, I believe that's Bigfoot 2. Could be 1. Looks like 2. And it's running over a bunch of cars, and it stops at a Dart Sport.
Oh,
Ooh.
Now, they should have known when I was 5 years old I was going to need those taillight bezels. So,
Right?
hey,
moon.
for all I know, that could be the one mine came out of. I don't know.
Sad thing is, that car got destroyed.
It did. But in the picture, it looks like Bob Chandler, I guess, would have been driving then, and he had Mercy on it in the picture. Mopar Al, how do I find you? Al, if you would like, and if you say, I'm happy to send Buff your number if you want me to, or vice versa. Y'all figure it out. I can make that happen. Just tell me. Buff, if you want me to send Al your number, or Al, if you want me to send Buff, just let me know. I'm glad to help. Yeah, they're on YouTube. You guys got your channels there. Just do that too. All right, I'll do that. Guys, we're over the 2-hour mark here. And it's just flown by. It's been a barrel of fun. I didn't book a guest today. I'll be back to regular format next time. But I do want to thank the mods. They've been in and out today. Joe and Blake and Andy and Ari and Buff, and want to thank all of them. They have Fubar. They've been lurking. So thank them. As far as anything to plug, not really, but we'll be back to regular format next week, and we've got some pretty cool stuff planned for the winter. But
Nice.
Even though we still got a lot of people in here, I try to stay pretty. Unfinished projects asking who's on deck. We have some cool stuff on deck, but I don't necessarily have dates for those yet. So you'll see. I think you'll enjoy it. We've got some good stuff coming up. Yeah, straight six stand just in time to shut down. We were talking about hats, so I said I need to Need to wear my hat today.
Is anybody doing a live after this?
You know, I had not planned on going in, any longer than 2 hours. So I want to fire up or whatever you can. I mean, still got 46 in here, but
I've got trivia night tomorrow night for a live.
yeah, you got yours tomorrow night. So, but anyway, I'll. But anyway, guys, I won't tie y'all up anymore. Thanks for coming out. I'm going to go ahead and shut down and finally get to eat some dinner. And I will be seeing y'all next week or sooner.
Sounds like a plan.
Right on.
We'll see y'all.
Thanks,
We'll
John.
see you. It was fun.
Thanks for having us.
Thanks for joining.